Hi guys, I'm Shmee, and today we're at Topaz for the detailing and paint protection process on the new Shmee-mobile, the Aston Martin Vantage GT8. And just as I say that, a Ferrari California drove by. But this car has arrived, it is here, and Topaz are doing me a huge favor because we've basically brought the car in with next to no sort of notice and spare time to get it prepared, ready to go to the Auto Sport show where it is going to be on display for you guys if you're able to make it to come and have a look. So we've basically got a day to do as much as we can before bringing the car back for the final preparation that we will do afterwards. So it's in the wash bay here. We're going to start off by washing the car, then we'll mask it up, then we will detail some of the car's areas, maybe the whole thing if we've got time, but then it's important to get some paint protection film on the car because I've got a short drive with it to Autosport. So look at these carbon fiber pieces around here behind the wheel. This is desperately vulnerable to being damaged. Here behind the front cutaway, this front tyre is going to throw stones up. This is going to get obliterated if it doesn't have paint protection film on it. Obviously around the front for the sort of traditional stone chip protection from other cars out on the road. So we will be doing the vulnerable kind of parts with protection film, as much of the car as possible with the detailing, and when we've got it inside, I'll show you over the paintwork and how it looks now. But first, it's time to get started with the washing here in the wash bay. First part of the process is the wheels. Now it's important to get these right, and because these wheels are matte finish, they have to get a different kind of chemical and be looked after, but they get a proper scrub. Make sure they are set as a good starting point. Now it's time for some Iron X, and I always love this part because basically if there are any sort of bits of residue or things on the surface of the car, they kind of bleed off and it's purple blood. So when we did this with the McLaren, we had drips of purple coming off the car, but being totally brand new and currently with only 10 miles on the clock, you'd hope this is going to be in pretty good shape and there's not going to be too much of that to make a mess with, but we'll have a look in a moment. So the wheels had a jet wash there, but I'm going to show you some Iron X, some purple blood. Oh, that was an FF. Actually, you can see loads down here, look at this. So the Iron X reacting on the various sort of bits and bobs that are on the car. If we come around the back, unsurprisingly, it's going to be on the metal of the exhaust and the exhaust tips. You can see the puddles of purple underneath. It's actually quite fun to see. Wash all of that off. Time to shuffle the car back before the snow foaming, and that means we get to hear it start. And trust me, if you haven't heard it, with the water coming out, it sounds good. What a noise. Titanium exhaust on the 4.7 litre naturally aspirated V8, and that is the beauty of the GT8. Time to turn it white. This is always, I think, my favourite part, just because it looks so funny. As you cover a car with snow foam. Again, something that just helps loosen all the little bits and pieces that get down the edges and the likes. So that you don't have anything left on the car, basically, when you then apply the paint protection film. Anything that would get under the film would create bubbles or little spots or specks. While the snow foam is on the car, a little brush is used over all the sort of lines, joins, edges, panel gaps, just to make sure that any particles that are left there can be removed so that as you apply the protection film, those don't get stuck underneath. So that's done around all the areas of the car, basically, that the protection film is going to be installed. And the jet wash to remove the snow foam. Shampoo time. It's a good bath for the GT8. Another round of jet washing just to get rid of all of the shampoo. I run over all of the parts, both the carbon and the painted bits with the clay bar, just to clay over and again make everything as smooth as it can possibly be. Last, but by no means least, a wipe down with a microfiber towel, drying the surfaces, ready for the car to move in. And just for fun, the two cars together, the blue and orange and the purple and silver on the flagship Shmee-mobiles. This is awesome. I am buzzing like a giddy child at the moment because, well, I thought having the McLaren was ridiculously cool, but now the GT8, how customized it is. Oh, it's amazing. So that's going to go back inside now to start the next stages of the process. In we come. come then to the bay that used to be used for PPF, but is now a detailing bay here in the original Topaz unit. So they sort of expanded recently and set up these two different units. One this side, the old unit for detailing, new side for the paint protection film. So we'll head over there for that part later. But I've had a few of my cars in here, and this one is looking good. Masking then, the weird process of covering up every part of the car that you're not going to run over with a machine polisher. So protecting the windows, as you can see around the front, all the sort of different parts like the indicator lights, the headlights, the front grille will be done too. And you do this so that when you're going around with the machine on the paintwork, you don't accidentally catch another surface or a bit of trim like the trim around the window itself or on the door mirror, whereby you would obviously turn something that was black into whatever color it's got underneath. So you don't want to do that. All you want to do is touch the painted surfaces, all the lacquer of course on the carbon fiber. So we'll be doing this where you can get to on the carbon parts, and also on the extended splitter that we've got to get out as well. I'll go around in a moment, I guess when we've done with the masking, to show you how the paintwork looks at the moment. The car is now fully masked up, and we've turned off some of the lights in here because I've got a sun gun to take you around and talk a little bit more about the paint. Now, the question that always gets asked is, why do you detail a brand new car? Well, the simple answer is that detailing is a very manual process. It takes a lot of hours, and it's a hand sort of worked skill. So manufacturers can do a bit of it, but never completely everything perfectly. Aston Martin do a pretty decent job compared to some of the other brands that I might have seen before now, but as always, there are a couple of things on here that as I take the torch around, I can show you and we can discuss. So the first is on this area of the car. I don't know if you'd be able to catch this on the camera, but around there, you've got what are called pitting marks, the little sort of dots you can see either side of the light reflection. So I'm trying to hold my camera in a way you can see this. Small little dots all over the paintwork. That needs sanding to remove those. If we come around to the mirror here, you can see the holograms. So from where the torch is, you can see the different sort of streaks of light coming out the side. A perfect reflection would basically be no streaks, just the dot where the light is. And if I come around here, we can see some sanding marks as well, which again can be machined away just towards the edge of the bonnet, just up here. There we go. You can see that sort of hazy reflection. There are a couple of those around the car. Now, under normal lights, you might never notice those, but by perfecting the whole thing, you bring out extra shine from the paintwork prior to covering it in the paint protection film, and it basically means that when you're out on a beautiful day in the sunshine looking at the car, it looks completely transformed and you see so much more of the vibrance from the colour. And on a car like this, with the dual tone paint job, you want it to stand out. So it's pretty good from the factory, and we're really talking to the very, very top level here, and that's why I come to Topaz, because we can do it and make it look brilliant. But we're going to wrap up there for today. I'm going to come back tomorrow for the machining, going over the car. Good morning, it's time for day 2, and this time the machining. So some polishing compound has been applied firstly to the bonnet. There are 2 stages of this, using the machine polishers, going around the entire car to sort out sanding marks, all the different sort of elements we saw before. But this is done first using the sort of low-level compound at the moment, then it's done with a sort of more precise one afterwards to go over and just refine the final touches, the last little bits of this. So this will hopefully, well, it takes a good few hours to go over the whole car. 2 guys working on it. Should make some good progress starting from the front, working back to clear up some of those bits. Progress is going well around to the rear, but you can already start to see improvements. So with the light on here, you can possibly tell that the sanding marks that were there before have already started to be removed. And that's just the first round. And yes, you do this on the carbon as well. So the wing has a couple of sort of hairline scratches and things. I don't know if we can actually catch those on the camera, but small sanding marks and imperfections. We can go over all of that, make it perfect as well. But this is basically like an ironing board or a picnic table. I don't know what you want to call it. The massive wing on the back of the GT8. Fast forward a little bit and we've had the detail. Now remember, we're fighting time, so we've been able to go around the car once more quickly, and now it's had the sort of airline going through the gaps to make sure we can get rid of some of the polish. You can see that the wing is now looking rather lovely. Lots of the light sort of hairline scratches that were on it have been removed. I showed you the bit on the bonnet earlier, but we had some hologramming down here, which has all been substantially improved. much better reflections off the car now. So just going to go for a quick wash and rinse down before taking it over to the PPF side. 3D gas! Okay. Let me try and talk. That's a normal start. That's just a normal cold start in the GT8. Not trying to do anything. Round 2 with the snow foam. Rinsed and dried. That's so good. And around we go, out into some bright winter sunshine. This is looking so good. Oh, some other rather nice cars as well. RE V10 Plus, 570S, Cayman, the Vanquish. Lovely, and I can spot a few more LTs here as well. Maybe we'll come back to those in a second. There's a Ferrari there somewhere. It is PPF time then, paint protection film, and this is the new look Topaz sort of workshop with the different workstations and various teams. So my car's slotted in nicely between 2 Ferraris, between the FF and a Speciale, but as you can see, they have started putting on the protection film to the carbon fibre side skirts. And this is quite a cool piece actually. Well, firstly, it's a really complicated piece because it's got a lot of shapes to deal with, and it has to deal with the battering the stone chips will do coming up off the very sticky Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres into this cutaway in the front, well, behind the front arch here. So this part has to protect the front edge. It has to go to the underside because of all the stones on the underneath of the carbon fibre. And obviously because it's carbon painted with the orange accent, you don't want to get it damaged at all. So that's being done. We're working on the sort of most vulnerable parts to get started. The reasoning for protection film in the first place is explained pretty well in some previous videos, even when we took some keys to the bonnet or the front bumper of my Ferrari FF and showed how you can get a little bit of damage to the car, take the film off, and the paintwork underneath is totally fine. So that's why you do it. If you have cars like these with rather nice paint jobs, very expensive, and you don't want to have to repair them, it is significantly beneficial. Plus, it keeps the paint underneath looking perfect ongoing because you have that layer of film, so the paint itself is not picking up swirl marks, residue from bird droppings or trees or anything like that that can sort of damage and alter the colour. So from my experience, it works very well. That's why every new car of sort of value or that I really care about comes in here for the guys to work on it. And the GT8, no exception. So we're going to blast around this using the various sort of methods to install, the slip solution to move it into place, then the fix solution to hold it down, which is exactly what you're seeing right now, then the squeegee to pull the water out. Then afterwards, it just gets dried off. And basically, you can't even tell there's a film on it at all, well, as you can start to see from that little sort of section at the rear, and you will see more of as the car takes shape. All hands on deck then to do all of the different parts. So we've got the front bumper that's been done, the extension parts for the splitter have also been done, the headlights have been done. If I come round to the side, you can see some of the back is being done here, the rear diffuser to protect all of those sort of super vulnerable areas. We've got the rear splitter parts here, the front splitter parts right here. And everything, actually, let me come in and close and show you this. This carbon fibre has already been done, and as we know from the LT, you can also do satin carbon fibre, but the film goes right up to the inside edge, just in there, actually. If I turn on the light, we can see this. There we go, maybe. It goes right to the inside edge, so all the stuff that gets thrown up by the tyre is not going to brutalise and destroy this, which is a nice place to be. So yes, pretty amazing job to get this so far through just today. While we're here, it would be very rude of me not to draw some attention to the Ferrari F40 LM, as if a normal F40 wasn't rare enough. Now this car's just been through a full restoration, and basically the F40, the way the panels and parts are made, no two cars are the same. The vents can be slightly different sizes or in slightly different places, so each one has to be templated, and then the pattern's cut out onto the material that's used to do the PPF. So that's what's happening here. It's being designed, plotted out, and then sort of perfected. And this car is obviously a rather special example because the LM is very rare and this is a perfect one. there are some other nice things in here as well. M4, nice green Cayman GT4, and a rather lovely Pagani Zonda F that we've seen quite a few times actually in the past on the Shmee 150 channel. We're going to wrap up today. The next step is the sort of quality control, going over the work that's been done. Lots of the panels are covered, ready for the show. It's been a brilliant job, to be honest. Then it's going to be back over for the final sort of tidy up and preparation before the car is ready to be trucked off and move on its way. So I'm going to catch up with you tomorrow. Welcome back, where things have moved swiftly on. So the car is nearly ready. It's wearing the number plates. We've got the SH12ME plates because the car is number 120 out of the 150, with the nice quote from Andy Palmer on there to go with the plaque in the engine bay following his final inspection. But it's got paint protection film all over now. Well, the front parts, on the paintwork, on the carbon fibre, and that's all been sort of through the quality control and made sure it's all perfect. It's then had the hoovering and the sort of final finishing processes, of course, preparing it basically to be ready to go out on the road. So it's looking really rather beautiful, and it's going to look even better when we get it outside. We can have a look at the car in its full glory. So naturally, I'm really rather excited about this. This is done. So everything that's being done to it in this stage is now completed. Paintwork is looking beautiful. It's obviously been under a lot of time pressure to get it on its adventure now, where it's going for PDI, pre-delivery inspection, then to Gaydon, to the factory, ready for the road, or the final part of the road, over to Autosport, where the car will be displayed for you guys to come and see if you're in the area or able to attend the show. It's looking really, really good. And you can see the quality of sort of reflections of the lights here, and the carbon in the paintwork. Stunning finish as always. And now the front is protected. So it will come back. It's got paint protection basically from here forwards and certain vulnerable areas. It will come back for the rest of the car to be done. But it is quite interesting seeing the comparison between a panel without film and a panel with film. That's protected. And basically, what you can see from the reflection of me, it's a very nice sort of finish to it. So we've just got now to take the car outside, see it in a bit of sunshine, and that will be goodbye for today. It looks so good on the move. And out it emerges. Look at that in the sunshine. And there we go, let's wrap up for now. The car is going to go on for collection. It's going to be a rather special one, so stay tuned for that. But this is the end of this episode of The Road to GT8. A big thanks to Topaz for everything they've done to get it prepared to go to Autosport, where you guys can see it. And of course to All Transports for the last minute movement of the car to get it over here and get it around. Thank you very much for watching as well, guys, and I will catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.